The fortress of the mind is the only kingdom that can never be conquered unless you open its gates yourself. Every man and woman walks through life seeking protection, from betrayal, from pain, from the unpredictable cruelty of others. Yet few realize that the only true defense is not made of walls or weapons, but of inner discipline. The weak build alliances, hoping to be shielded by affection, approval, or the loyalty of others. The wise build fortresses within themselves. They understand that to depend on the mercy of others is to invite ruin. Power, therefore, is not in domination of the world, but in the mastery of one's own reactions to it. When you construct the fortress of your mind, you cease to live as a servant to emotion. You do not deny pain, but you strip it of its authority. Insults become whispers against stone. Betrayal becomes a lesson, not a wound. The walls of this fortress are built with reason, brick by brick, forged from self-knowledge and the understanding of human nature. You recognize that men will deceive for gain, flatter for advantage, and abandon when convenience calls. Once this truth is accepted, disappointment loses its sting. What once pierced your heart now merely echoes at a distance, powerless to reach the core of you. In this fortress, silence is a weapon. You learn that not every attack requires defense, not every challenge deserves an answer. The unguarded man shouts and reacts, revealing where his heart is soft and his pride exposed. But the one who has fortified his mind remains calm amid provocation. His enemies strike and grow frustrated, for their arrows find no target. To master the art of stillness in the face of chaos is to rule yourself completely, and in ruling yourself, you rule all who seek to rule you. The building of this fortress requires solitude, not isolation, but deliberate withdrawal from the noise of the world. You must sit with your fears, study your weaknesses, and understand what moves you. Every reaction you have ever made, every anger, every sorrow, every desire, they are the architects of your prison until you confront them. The moment you observe them without judgment, they begin to lose power. You realize that emotions are not tyrants, only signals. They tell you where your walls are thin. The wise reinforce those places until no breach remains. Within this mental stronghold, peace is not a gift, it is discipline. The world may rage outside, false friends may betray, fortunes may collapse, lovers may turn cold, but the sovereign mind does not crumble. It watches, calculates, and endures. The strong mind bends like steel, never like glass. To construct such inner strength, you must treat your own thoughts as soldiers, each one disciplined, each one trained to serve order, not chaos. You do not allow fear to roam freely within you, nor pity to paralyze your will. You command them as a general commands his army, with clarity, not compassion. Those who live without this fortress remain at the mercy of every passing event. They are blown by opinions, destroyed by rejection, and enslaved by desire. Their peace depends on others, and so it is never theirs. But the one who has fortified his inner world cannot be touched. He may lose everything, yet he remains whole. The storms of the world do not shake him, because he does not anchor his soul in the fragile soil of circumstance, but in the unyielding stone of self. Command. The art of indifference is not born from apathy, but from command. It is the supreme discipline of one who has understood the true nature of power, that it is not the world that enslaves us, but our response to it. To be untouched by praise or blame, to walk through triumph and disgrace with the same calm breath, is to stand above men. Most people are ruled by their emotions. They rise with approval and fall with rejection. Their hearts are like leaves in the wind, tossed by every whisper of opinion. But the one who practices indifference stands rooted, unmoved, as the storm passes around him. Indifference is not coldness, it is control. It is the art of feeling everything and yet being ruled by nothing. The common man believes he must react, that every insult must be met, every slight avenged, every affection reciprocated. But in doing so, he reveals his weakness. He becomes predictable, easy to move, easy to use. The indifferent man, however, has mastered himself so completely that others cannot find purchase on his soul. Their words fall upon him like rain upon marble. Whether he is flattered or condemned, his expression does not shift, his pulse does not quicken. This serenity is not born from ignorance, but from an understanding that the judgment of others holds no true value. Praise and blame are two sides of the same coin, both minted by those who do not know themselves. To practice indifference is to free yourself from the invisible chains of validation. Every man seeks acknowledgement, every woman desires recognition. These are the roots of dependence. The wise see through this illusion and step away. When your worth no longer depends on the approval of others, you become untouchable. The insults of the envious and the applause of the admiring sound alike. faint and meaningless. You act, not to please or provoke, but because the act itself is worthy of being done. Your motive is not reaction but reason. This art demands sacrifice. To learn indifference, one must endure solitude, for few can live without the emotional noise that fills the silence of the mind. The indifferent man must become a mirror, reflecting all, absorbing nothing. He listens to gossip and remains unmoved. He watches betrayal and feels no need for vengeance. He receives affection without dependence. His emotions are instruments, not masters. He uses them to understand others but never allows them to dictate his path. The fire of passion and the chill of fear both serve him, as a sword serves the hand that wields it. Indifference also sharpens perception. When you cease to react, you begin to see clearly. The motives of others, once hidden behind charm or anger, become transparent. You see how easily people are manipulated by their own desires, how they dance at the pull of invisible strings. The indifferent man does not join their dance. He observes, calculates, and decides. His restraint becomes his weapon. While others reveal themselves in haste, he remains unreadable and thus powerful. His silence unnerves the loud, his calm destroys the frantic. To achieve this mastery, one must train the mind to detach from outcome. Success must not intoxicate nor failure depress, for both are impostors wearing masks of importance. What truly matters is not the event, but the composure with which it is faced. The indifferent man does not chase happiness, for he knows it is fleeting, nor does he run from pain, for he knows it cannot last. He remains steady in the middle ground, a still flame untouched by the wind. In this state, the world loses its power to wound. Praise cannot inflate him, criticism cannot diminish him, and fortune cannot enslave him. He sees life as a game where only fools mistake applause for victory and silence for defeat. He plays his part with precision, yet his heart remains elsewhere, high above the board, where emotion no longer rules reason, and the soul no longer bends to the whims of manpower over perception, is the highest mastery a human being can attain. For the world itself is not what harms us, it is what we believe about it that does. Every event, every word, every betrayal or misfortune is powerless until the mind gives it meaning. To govern perception is to govern reality. Two men may face the same insult. One collapses under humiliation, the other grows stronger in silence. The difference lies not in the insult, but in the interpretation. Those who fail to rule their perception live as slaves to circumstance, tossed between joy and despair by forces they imagine to be external. But those who have learned to control it become unshakable. They see the same world as everyone else, yet they walk through it untouchable. Perception is the gatekeeper of emotion. If you believe an event is tragedy, it becomes one. If you believe it is instruction, it becomes wisdom. The weak mind interprets everything through fear. Every loss as injustice, every rejection as proof of unworthiness. The strong mind bends perception to its will. It translates pain into discipline, solitude into clarity, and failure into refinement. To master this art, one must first realize that perception is not truth, but choice. What you see in others is often a mirror of what you fear within yourself. The insults that sting the most are those that touch a hidden insecurity. Once you expose this mechanism, you begin to see how others use your own emotions against you. How easily a few words can move an unguarded mind. When you withdraw the power of reaction, their influence fades. To control perception, you must first slow the mind. The impulsive man is always defeated because he mistakes emotion for fact. He reacts before he sees, believes before he questions. The deliberate mind, however, pauses. It examines, measures, and then decides what meaning an event deserves. This pause is the throne of power. It is where sovereignty begins. When you delay reaction, you deny the world access to your inner state. You become an observer, not a participant in your own manipulation. The world loses its ability to provoke you, for provocation requires your consent. Every powerful soul constructs a lens through which all things are filtered. This lens is shaped by self-awareness, not illusion. You do not lie to yourself about reality, you redefine its importance. You do not call pain pleasure, but you recognize it as the forge that tempers strength. You do not call betrayal loyalty, but you see it as a revelation of truth. The mastery lies not in denial, but in dominion. You decide what enters the heart and what dies at the threshold of the mind. The wise never ask, "Why did this happen to me?" They ask, "What can this teach me?" This simple shift in perception transforms suffering into strategy. Even adversity becomes an instrument of growth. The world can strip you of possessions, status, affection, but it cannot dictate your interpretation of loss. That is the final territory of freedom. When you control how you see, No one can control how you feel. This power over perception extends beyond personal peace. It is a weapon in the theater of influence. The man who governs perception governs others. For people are led not by truth, but by what they believe to be true. If you can shape how something is seen, you need not alter what it is. Appearances rule the masses, substance rules the few. The wise understand this and act accordingly. They conceal strength behind calm, hide intention behind courtesy, and use perception as armor and sword alike. In the end, perception is not merely how you see the world, but how you construct yourself within it. The untrained mind is a mirror, reflecting whatever stands before it. The trained mind is a lens, focusing and transforming light into vision. To possess power over perception is to turn every wound into wisdom, every chaos into order, and every defeat into an illusion that only strengthens the will to rise. The cold flame of detachment is the mark of those who have conquered themselves. It is not the absence of feeling, but the mastery of it, a silent fire that burns without consuming. Most people live enslaved by their passions. They love too intensely, trust too readily, and fear too deeply. Their emotions rule them like tyrants, leading them toward ruin disguised as devotion. Detachment is not cruelty, it is clarity. It is the art of caring without clinging, of acting without attachment to outcome, of observing life with precision rather than drowning in it. The detached mind is not lifeless, it is disciplined, deliberate, and sharp as the blade of a seasoned warrior. Attachment blinds the mind. The moment you become dependent on something, whether it is affection, success, or comfort, you hand over power. You begin to live in fear of loss, and fear is the first crack in the armor of strength. The world senses that fear and exploits it. The ambitious are manipulated by reward, the sentimental by love, the insecure by praise. But the one who practices detachment cannot be moved by such levers. His contentment comes not from possession but from command of self. He walks among people without needing them, enjoys beauty without demanding it last, and faces loss with the calm of one who expected nothing eternal. Detachment requires understanding the impermanence of all things. Everything you cherish will fade. Every feeling will pass. Every bond will shift with time. The one who denies this truth suffers endlessly. The one who accepts it becomes serene. The wise do not build castles in the sand of emotion. They build citadels on the rock of understanding. To love deeply yet be ready to let go at any moment is not weakness. It is the highest strength. It allows you to engage fully with life while remaining free from its chains. The detached man can give everything and lose nothing, because his sense of self is not entangled with what he possesses or whom he loves. This cold flame burns brightest when confronted with betrayal, loss, or humiliation. Where the unguarded heart collapses, the detached mind observes. It does not deny pain, but it does not surrender to it. It watches emotions rise and fall as one watches the tide, knowing that no wave lasts forever. In this observation lies power. When you cease to identify with your feelings, they cease to dominate you. You experience them fully, but they pass through you like wind through an open hall. The mind that can hold both joy and sorrow without preference is untouchable. The cultivation of detachment is an act of continual discipline. It begins in thought, refusing to let the imagination dwell on what might be lost or what might be gained. It extends to action, performing every deed with excellence, but releasing concern for reward. It even touches relationships, offering affection without dependence, compassion without expectation, to love without needing to own, to serve without needing to be seen, to act without needing to be praised. This is the rarest form of freedom. Those who live without detachment are ruled by the constant hunger of desire. They chase pleasure as though it were permanent, and flee pain as though it were avoidable. Their peace depends on circumstance, and thus it shatters easily. But the detached individual has extinguished this hunger. He does not chase nor flee. He remains poised in stillness, observing the dance of gain and loss without joining it. His emotions, though present, no longer dictate his course. They exist as tools, not masters. This cold flame, steady and unwavering, grants him vision that others lack. While the world burns in longing and despair, he stands amid the fire untouched, illuminated by the very blaze that consumes the rest. The victory of sovereignty is the final conquest, the moment when the individual ceases to be ruled by anything outside himself. It is not the domination of others, but the absolute command of one's own mind, impulses, and destiny. True sovereignty begins where dependence ends. The one who seeks validation, revenge, or pity remains chained, even if the world kneels before him. Power that relies on admiration is fragile. Strength that requires recognition is counterfeit. Sovereignty is born when you no longer need the world to confirm your worth. When your peace stands unshaken amid chaos, when your will remains unbent by fear or flattery, you have reached a realm beyond harm. The sovereign self is forged through relentless trial. Every disappointment, every rejection, every betrayal serves as a hammer striking the iron of the soul. Most people break under such blows because they resist them. The sovereign welcomes them, knowing that only through pressure is the will refined. He does not ask for mercy from life. He demands mastery over it. The world becomes his training ground, not his torment. When insulted, he does not protest. When wronged, he does not beg for justice. He watches, remembers, and transforms every injury into insight. In this way, even suffering becomes a form of dominion, the power to transmute pain into wisdom. Freedom without discipline is decay. The sovereign mind is not wild but ordered. It moves with precision, like a kingdom governed by an unyielding law. Every thought is weighed, every emotion tested before it is allowed to act. He does not speak carelessly, nor indulge the whims of impulse. He is deliberate, measured, patient, qualities that lesser minds mistake for weakness. But his stillness is not submission, it is power held in reserve. When he acts, it is decisive and irreversible, like a blade drawn after long silence. The world fears such composure, for it cannot be predicted or controlled. Sovereignty also means liberation from the need to be understood. The sovereign walks alone, surrounded yet solitary. He knows that truth cannot be shared with those who still crave comfort over clarity. He accepts misunderstanding as the price of independence. To be sovereign is to be misjudged, envied, sometimes despised. For those who remain enslaved by their emotions cannot comprehend a man who feels yet is not ruled by feeling, who possesses yet is not possessed. He wears solitude not as punishment, but as armor. For him, silence is not emptiness, but dominion over the noise of the world. The highest form of sovereignty is emotional neutrality. You do not rejoice excessively in victory, nor despair in defeat. You move with the calm rhythm of one who knows that both are temporary. Praise cannot lift you, nor insult reduce you. You become immune to manipulation, for no one can tempt or threaten what does not crave or fear. This equilibrium is not numbness, it is balance. The sovereign feels deeply, but his feelings bow to reason. He possesses emotion without being possessed by it. To reach this state, one must abandon the illusion of control over others and claim the only dominion that is ever real: mastery of self. You cannot command the loyalty of men, but you can command your response to betrayal. You cannot halt the march of time, but you can choose how to walk alongside it. You cannot prevent loss, but you can decide whether it diminishes or strengthens you. Sovereignty is not immunity from the storms of life, it is the unshakable poise with which you stand in their center. The sovereign self no longer bargains with fate or complains of circumstance. He shapes his path from what is given, bending chaos into order through will alone. His worth no longer rises and falls with fortune, for he has built it on the indestructible foundation of self-command. When nothing external can disturb your inner order, you have already triumphed over the world. The chains that once bound you, fear, desire, validation, lie shattered at your feet, and what remains is not arrogance, but quiet, impenetrable freedom. When the mind becomes its own master, the world loses its dominion. The fortress within stands unbreached. Indifference shields the heart from the chaos of others. Perception bends to will, detachment refines desire into discipline, and sovereignty crowns the spirit with unshakable calm. No man, no event, no misfortune can wound the one who has conquered himself. Power ceases to be a pursuit and becomes a state of being. The storms of life may still howl, but they find no entry, for the soul has risen beyond reach, not through denial of the world, but through mastery over it. In this final victory, you do not escape life. You rule it in silence, with the unspoken certainty that nothing and no one can ever hurt you again.